This is a video from the Clean Water for US Kids program, which is helping schools and childcare programs test their drinking water for lead. This video will show you how to sample your cooking and drinking taps for lead.
Hi, I'm Jenny Redmond from RTI International. Today I'm going to show you how to sample for lead. Hopefully you have received your testing kit in the mail already. It should look like this. It's a square box and it will be labeled to you after you enroll. So step one is setting a date. We recommend sampling on a Monday morning because most child care centers are closed over the weekend. The goal is to ensure that nobody has used water for 8 hours so you can collect a first draw sample.
So what are first draw samples? First draw samples test the water from your tap after a period of inactivity. Lead levels in drinking water may vary throughout the day and are likely to be higher the longer water has been sitting unused in the pipes. For this reason, we recommend collecting water samples on a Monday morning before any water is used in the building. Since many facilities are not used over the weekend and very few are used overnight, sampling early in the morning gives us a high-end scenario for lead at the tap on a weekly basis. Our approach follows U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's 3T's guidance.
Make sure to take your phone out and set an alarm on your phone and put it on your calendar. It's also a good idea to let all of the other teachers know that you plan to do the sampling and anybody that typically comes in early. If you come to the center and notice that somebody has used water already, that's okay. Plan to do your sampling the next Monday morning. Step two is making sure your sample box is complete. Inside the box will be your water bottles for sampling. So in your sample box, you'll have your box, the number of water bottles that you need for the number of drinking and cooking outlets in your center. You will also have a return mailing label to make sure you can mail it back. You will have a chain of custody document that shows where you're sampling and the date and time. You'll have instructions. After checking that your sample box is complete, the next thing you want to do is make sure that your chain of custody document has the sample IDs correctly and are coordinated with the bottles that we've provided. And you want to make sure that you sample in order of the rows on this document. Step three is to pick up your first bottle that matches with your chain of custody document. Remember that we are supposed to collect first draw water samples. So you may be tempted to wash your hands before you start, but actually wait, and if you have hand sanitizer nearby, you can use some hand sanitizer if you like to clean your hands. And if you don't have hand sanitizer, that's okay. The goal is to make sure that you don't put your hands on the inside of the bottle where the water will be sitting. Make sure you just take care to open the bottle carefully and pull the cap up without putting your fingers inside the cap or the bottle itself. You want to do the normal speed and then slow it down right as it gets to the top. When you put the water on, you don't turn it on before you put the bottle in. You don't just put the water on a little bit. Make sure you stop before it overflows. Pick up your cap again and turn it over. Close the bottle tightly. Once you're done with your first sample, you're ready to repeat those steps for your remaining samples, going in order of the chain of custody document. Water fountains, you have to be a bit careful because the angle of the water may be different than you're expecting, and you really want to try to get a first draw sample. So if possible, in the week before you do the sampling, check the water fountain and see where you think that the water typically hits, and maybe even put a little marking there. So you are going to angle your bottle and aim to get all of the water. If a little bit of water spills out with the fountain, that's okay. Just try to get as much of the first draw water as you can into the bottle. And if you don't get it in right away, keep the bottle as full as you can. You don't need to spill it out and try again. Once you fill up your water fountain bottle, place the cap on tightly and close it up. Now that you've collected all your water samples, you're ready to fill the date and the time on your chain of custody document. Once you've written down your sample collection date and time, be sure to sign the chain of custody document and date it and put the current time down. There are a few common mistakes that people make when collecting water samples. Number one, make sure that you do not flush water at your center prior to water sampling. That means that no water should be used at the center for at least 8 hours prior to collecting the samples. Second, some taps have aerators that can be removed to clean out debris. You do not want to remove those prior to collecting these samples. Third, there are shut-off valves in the pipes beneath the sinks, and you do not want to close the shut-off valves. Now that you've completed your water sample collection, you are ready to watch the next video on how to ship your samples to the lab.